everyone, I'm Jackie. Welcome back to my kitchen for another dessert recipe as part of the Real Women of Philadelphia cooking competition. It's a beautiful morning out there, so I thought I'd whip up a batch of sweet pastries before it gets too hot to have my oven on. I call these pastries cheesy jammy puff tarts, and they're the perfect lunchtime dessert. You can pop them into your lunchbox, or better yet, tuck them into your picnic basket for days like this when you want to get outside and enjoy the weather. They're super easy to make with ingredients that I always have in my fridge and pantry, and I bet you do too. So to get started, we are using store-bought puff pastry, one package or 2 sheets. And I'm working with 1 sheet at a time so that it stays chilled. Cold pastry is much easier to work with. So I've rolled out our first sheet to 10 by 12.5 inches, and I've cut it in half lengthwise, and then I've cut it again into 5 evenly spaced columns. Now, one of my favorite kitchen tools is my tape measure. And this one, as you can see, is bright pink and teal. I have no idea where I got it. I'm sure it was at the height of fashion in the 1980s. But one thing I love about this, and its rather funky coloring, is I know that my husband will never borrow it and walk off with it. It'll always be in my little baking drawer when I need it. And if you don't have a tape measure, I discovered a really cool measuring tool perfect for this recipe, and that's our box of Philly. It is the perfect size. It's 5 inches by just shy of 2.5 inches, and that is what I've cut our pastry to. So how cool is that? How versatile is that? Philly doesn't just taste good, it's a great mathematical tool. I guess we could say it really measures up. So with our pastry rolled and cut, we're going to add our Philly filling. And for that I have half a cup of Philadelphia cream cheese. I'm using the light today. You could use regular. I've used that before as well. They both work. And I stirred it up with a couple tablespoons of sugar and a teaspoon of vanilla. And then I stirred in a 1/4 cup of chopped dried cherries and a 1/4 cup of finely chopped toasted pecans. I also have here 5 tablespoons of peach jam, and I've just stirred it to make it nice and loose, easy to spread. I have beaten 1 egg with a bit of water to use as an egg wash. That'll be the glue for a tart, but also the glaze on top. And some sugar for sprinkling. If you have coarse sugar, use that. If not, granulated sugar is fine. And I've got a fork sitting in a little tub of flour that will be another little handy tool when it's time to put these together. So all we do is take about 1.5 tablespoons of our Philly mixture and just spread it, clump it, push it down the center of each, not every tart. Half of these are the bottoms and half are the tops. So spread the filling mixture on half of the pastry squares. You don't put this right to the edges, just down the center. We need to leave our edges bare to close in our little pastries. And then top that with about 1/2 tablespoon of jam. Now, one of the things I love about these cheesy jammy puff tarts is you could use any kind of flavor combination you like. I'm using dried cherries and pecans and some vanilla extract, topping it with peach jam. But you could use any kind of dried fruit and nuts you like, and any kind of jam. How about raisins and chopped walnuts, and then topped with apple jelly? Add a dash of cinnamon in with your Philly. That would be like having all the flavors of an apple pie right in your hand. And now we're going to just brush the edges with our egg wash. I think another great flavor combination would be chopped dried apricots with chopped pistachios, and maybe a bit of lemon zest in with the Philly. And for the jam, red wine jelly. That'd be a nice kind of a grown-up take on these tarts. Now we just flip our top pastry over. I like to have a nice wide pastry brush to just brush the excess flour off of these. Now you just take your floured fork and press the edges together. The flour is just to keep the fork from sticking to the pastry. And brushing all over with our egg wash. That'll give it a nice sheen, help it brown up as well. I made these for a guest not long ago who's allergic to eggs. So instead of egg, I used some simple syrup, just sugar cooked with a bit of water as the glue to hold the pastry together, and I used heavy cream for the egg wash on top. Sprinkle some sugar over top. You can use coarse if you have it, or regular. These are all assembled. I'm just going to pop it into the fridge while I do our second sheet of pastry. Alright, our tarts are all assembled and ready to bake. I've got my oven preheated to 375 degrees. I'll pop these in. They'll take about 18-20 minutes. I'll check them a little sooner. They're done when the tops are brown, the pastries are puffed up, and also don't forget to take a peek underneath and make sure it's brown and cooked through on the bottom as well. Our cheesy jammy puff tarts have baked up beautifully. They're golden brown, light and flaky. I've let them cool on a wire rack for a bit. They are great either warm or at room temperature. Don't be tempted to eat them straight out of the oven because that filling is piping hot. These are an easy, delicious, casual dessert, and best of all, they're portable. I've already packed some away in our picnic basket. We're heading over to the lake to enjoy this gorgeous weather. I will be back with more desserts for you, so stick around. And until then, have yourself a wonderful day. Here's wishing you sunny skies.